DUNU KOTO ITO. It is kind of a bit special. Special because usually DUNU prefer to build their IEM using metal. But this KOTO ITO is entirely constructed of resin. It even includes a pressure relief system, which means that you're not going to get any kind of build-up pressure once worn for a prolonged period of time. It is fairly lightweight, I would say, at around 6 grams each side. It is very comfortable. With the 3 supplied ear tips, I have chosen to use the grey ear tip most of the time because it offers me the best balance of comfort and seal. I am not hearing that much of ambient noise seeping in. I was able to wait for a prolonged period of time for the last 3 hours with no hint of fatigue, no hint of abrasiveness. It is ergonomically well designed. And it also comes with DUNU modular cable, 4.4mm balance and 3.5mm single-ended. With an impedance rating rather high at 37 ohm and sensitivity at 105 dB, KOTO ITO require a bit more of power in order to sound the best. The first time when I received it, I plug it directly to my Xiaomi Mi 90 from the 3.5mm single-ended termination. I would say that I am getting the kind of sound and performance which is fairly okay, fairly usable, but I do need to crank the volume higher at around 75 and on some song even 80 out of 100. That is an indication that this KOTO ITO might need a bit more of power. And true indeed, once I scale it up with my favorite dongle, which is Venture Electronic Devastator, 4.4mm balance and almost 2 VRMS, it is a bit more dynamic sounding. It is definitely something which I would consider as almost 100% performance. And when I scale it even further with 240 milliwatt of power from my Time Ear BTE9, then I am hearing something which I would consider as 100%. It seems that the soundstage gets wider, the dynamic authority gets better, and the best part is that once I scale it even further with 710 milliwatt of power from my HiFiGo R8 Mark II with Class A amplification in high gain in turbo mode, then I am hearing something which is definitely 100%. The timbre gets improved. It is a lot more organic and natural and analog sounding now, and of course the soundstage gets really wide and very holographic. In order to fully capitalize on this KOTO ITO, just like many other bassy type of IEM, you may want to pump up the power. Like I mentioned earlier, DUNU KOTO ITO kind of a bit special. Special because to my knowledge, this is their first all resin only IEM. It is even more special because this is also their first proper Basshead IEM. The kind of IEM which will be super suitable for people who love huge lower frequency sound, especially on the sub-bass region. So let's just have a closer look at the lower frequency of this KOTO ITO, starting with the mid-bass itself, which I would classify as being highly technical, fast and tidy. It offers the kind of resolution and imaging which is suitable for all type of music, anything from pop, rock and metal music, and especially electronic music. It is the kind of mid-bass which is, despite being super strong and dominant, it does not bleed into the lower mid-range. And it gets even more exciting as you go lower into the sub-bass region. There is no way you're gonna miss the presence and the dominance of the sub-bass. It extends really deep and the presence of it is just super immersive, especially if you listen to electronic music or even dance music or even K-pop or J-pop. You're gonna hear the sub-bass, I can guarantee you that. Not only you will hear it, you also will feel it. This is the kind of IEM which I would categorize as being sub-bass Basshead IEM rather than mid-bass Basshead IEM. However, I must also mention some downside to it. Being already very bassy as it is out of the box, if you are the type of person who love to do equalizer and you love to EQ your lower frequency, then there's a limit to how much you can boost the lower frequency. I have tested it and it is still okay, boosting it up to 3 dB, but anything beyond 3 dB, then I am hearing some sort of distortion, especially in the sub-bass region or even mid-bass. As for the rest of the sound frequency, the mid-range itself, surprisingly neutral and transparent, despite being classified as a bassy IEM, because the kind of mid-range which I'm hearing is that, especially when it comes to male and female vocal, anything from high-pitch soprano to low-octave contralto, it offers the kind of transparent and neutral sound. I do admit that the placement of the singer itself, the vocal itself, kind of a bit step back, not as frontal as it is. The tonality The temperament and the timbre of the mid-range is definitely neutral and transparent. And the same can be applied when it comes to instrumentation. DUNU KOTO ITO offer the kind of upper frequency which I would classify as being smooth sounding, energetic, kind of a bit vibrant, and it extends really well. But the good thing is that it does not appear offensive at all. It has the kind of sparkle and energy to exhibit enough amount of macro and micro detail, and it extends really well, but definitely the kind of IEM which will not offend people who are sensitive to treble. Technically, it is also quite impressive. Of course, being a hybrid, you can expect Koto Ito to be very holographic. It has that kind of spatial imaging, which is very suitable for music, watching movie, or even gaming. And the soundstage is fairly wide and open sounding. How does it compare with the rest of the competition in the market? I'm just going to put it as simple as possible. You probably already know there's another IEM which impressed me a lot within this price range, which is AFUL P5+2, or just simply known as AFUL P7. So just make it like this. You take AFUL P7, you just boost up the lower frequency, especially the sub-bass, then you're going to get Koto Ito. While I was in Shenzhen last month doing the SIS 2025, it reminds me a lot to the old original Moondrop area. This is more like a supercharged, highly technical Moondrop area. But this one is a bit more resolving, a bit more faster with the transient speed, a better performer overall when it comes to technicalities. And of course, comparing it against two thoroughbred Basshead IEM like Punch Audio Martillo or even Kiwi Ears HBB Punch, very highly regarded for bass lover. In contrast, I would even say that this DUNU KOTO ITO would be proudly able to match the performance of those two IEM, especially when it comes to lower frequency. But of course, the focus of this will be a bit more on the sub-bass rather than the mid-bass. And of course, those two are still a bit more bassy as well, by at least 5%. All three of them would be very satisfying for people who love big bass. Thank you so very much for watching the video until the end. Without skipping, I hope. Now click like and subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram under the name of Andy AV. And also, if you'd like to support me directly, you can join the membership below for behind the scene, especially for AAV Insider and above, which will allow you to see what I am doing behind the scene.